My mother-in-law tried to replace me at my own wedding, until my husband did something. Planning my wedding should have been the happiest time of my life, but my future mother-in-law Linda made it feel like preparing for battle. From the moment David proposed, she made it clear that no woman would ever be good enough for her precious son. She questioned every decision I made, from the venue to the flowers to the guest list, always with that sweet smile that did not quite reach her eyes. The final straw came 3 weeks before the wedding when she called to inform me she had hired her own photographer because she did not trust mine to capture the important moments properly. When I told David about it, he just sighed and said that was just how his mother was, and I should try to be understanding. I should have seen it as a warning sign, but I was so focused on marrying the man I loved that I convinced myself everything would work out. The morning of our wedding, I was getting ready in the bridal suite with my bridesmaids when my maid of honor Jessica burst through the door looking panicked. "You need to see this," she said, holding up her phone. Linda had posted a photo on social media of herself in a stunning white lace dress with the caption, "Ready to celebrate my son's special day. Look out for the surprise I have planned." My heart sank. Not only was she wearing white to my wedding, but she was planning some kind of surprise that she had not discussed with us. I called David immediately, but his phone went straight to voicemail. He was probably getting ready with his groomsmen and had turned it off for photos. I spent the next hour trying to focus on getting ready while my mind raced with worst-case scenarios. What kind of surprise could she have planned? Was she going to object during the ceremony? Announce that David was making a mistake? My anxiety was through the roof by the time we arrived at the venue. As I walked down the aisle, I spotted Linda immediately. She was sitting in the front row wearing that white dress, which was somehow even more elaborate in person, with pearl details and a long train that looked almost bridal. She had positioned her own photographer right next to our official one, and he was taking photos of her instead of the ceremony. But what really caught my attention was David's face. Instead of looking happy and nervous like most grooms, he looked absolutely furious. His jaw was clenched, and he kept glancing at his mother with an expression I had never seen before. The ceremony proceeded normally until we got to the part where the officiant asks if anyone objects to the union. I held my breath, half expecting Linda to stand up and make a scene. Instead, David cleared his throat and asked if he could say something before we continued. My heart started pounding. Was he about to call off the wedding? In front of all our friends and family, David turned to face the congregation and began speaking in a clear, strong voice. "Before we continue," he said, "I need to address something that has been weighing on my heart. My mother has made it very clear that she does not approve of this marriage, and she has spent months trying to undermine and hurt the woman I love." The entire church fell silent. Linda's face turned bright red, and she started to stand up, but David held up his hand. "I am not finished," he said firmly. "Mom, you wore white to my wedding, which is traditionally reserved for the bride. You hired your own photographer to compete with ours. You have criticized every choice Sarah has made and questioned whether she is worthy of our family. But what you do not seem to understand is that Sarah is not marrying into our family. She is creating a new family with me." He turned back to me, and his expression softened completely. "Sarah," he continued, "I want everyone here to know that you are the most important person in my life. You are kind, intelligent, generous, and patient, especially with difficult family members who do not deserve your grace. I choose you today, tomorrow, and every day for the rest of my life, regardless of what anyone else thinks about that choice." Then he did something that left everyone speechless. He walked over to his mother and said quietly, but loud enough for everyone to hear, "Mom, I love you, but if you cannot respect my wife and my marriage, then you are not welcome in our lives. I will give you one chance to apologize to Sarah right now, in front of everyone, or you can leave." The church was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Linda looked around at all the faces staring at her, her own photographer still snapping pictures of the drama she had created. For a moment, I thought she might actually apologize and we could salvage the day. Instead, she gathered up her purse and that ridiculous white dress train and walked out of the church without saying a word. Her photographer followed her, looking confused and embarrassed. David walked back to me, took my hands, and said, "Now, where were we?" The officiant, clearly flustered but trying to maintain composure, continued with the ceremony. When David kissed me after we were pronounced husband and wife, the entire church erupted in applause and cheers. It was louder and more enthusiastic than any wedding celebration I had ever heard. At the reception, Person after person came up to us to say how impressed they were with how David handled the situation. His own father, who had divorced Linda years earlier, told me he was proud of his son for finally standing up to her manipulative behavior. My parents, who had been worried about Linda's treatment of me, said they had never been more confident that David would protect and cherish me. We have been married for 2 years now, and Linda has never apologized. She sends David birthday cards and tries to maintain contact, but she has never acknowledged me as his wife or accepted our marriage. David has remained firm in his boundaries, and honestly, our relationship is stronger because of it. Looking back, I am grateful that Linda showed her true colors so dramatically on our wedding day. It forced David to make a clear choice between enabling his mother's behavior and protecting our marriage. The fact that he chose me, so publicly and definitively, in front of everyone we love, told me everything I needed to know about the man I married and the life we were building together.